Chapter 10. Goodbye. The birds did not know what to make of it. At first, for several days, they flew at the windows, as they were in the habit of doing when they felt a little change from worms would be pleasant. It had come to be an understood thing that when they came to the places where the air was hard, they should flap and beat against it with wings and beak. Then their friend would push up the hard air, or open his tree and come out, and would scatter food for them, food which they could not name, but which was easy and pleasant to eat, and did not wiggle. Then they would flutter about him and perch on his head and hand and shoulder, and tell him all the news. He was always interested to hear how the nest was getting on, and how many eggs there were, and later, of the extraordinary beauty and virtue of the nestlings. He listened to all the forest gossip with evident pleasure, and often made noises as if he was trying to reply, though, having no bill, of course, he only produced uncouth sounds. He meant so well, though, and was so liberal with his food that all loved him, and not the youngest titmouse ever thought of making fun of him. Now he was gone, and the birds did not know what to make of it. They flew and beat against the hard air spaces, but there was no movement within. They consulted the squirrels, and the squirrels went and told Simeon Stylites, who came down from his pillar in distress and climbed down the hard red hollow tree that stood on top of the house. He was gone some time, and when he reappeared, the squirrels and birds screamed and chattered in affright, for he had gone down a gray squirrel and came up black as a crow. But he soothed them and explained that the inside of the tree was covered with black fur that came off on him. Moreover, all was as usual in the place below where their friend lived, only he was not there. He had found some nuts, but intended to keep them for his trouble, and so he departed. For a long time, the birds called and sang and swooped about the house, but no friendly face appeared, no voice answered their call, no hand scattered the daily dole. The creepers rustled and swung their green tendrils down over the house, but it remained senseless, silent, crouched against the wall of gray rock behind it. So it stands, and the forest blooms and fades and shrivels round it year after year. Only once every year, when the mayflowers are blossoming warm and rosy under the brown leaves, the owner of the house comes back to it. Comes with a weary step and a careworn brow, life being so full, and the rush of it bringing more work and thought and anxiety than the old days can hold. Yet, with serene countenance and eves full of quiet peace, ready to break on the instant into light and laughter. In his hands he brings the child, growing every year into new beauty, new grace, and brightness. And there, for a happy week, they live and play, and wash the pretty dishes, and feed the birds, and milk the brown cow, which is always mysteriously there in the pasture, ready to be milked. "Do you know, Mark," said the child once when they had patted the cow, and were turning away with their shining pail full. The child was a big girl now, but she had the same inconsequent way of talking. "Know what, Snow White?" "I really did think perhaps she was a princess that first time. Wasn't that funny?" She bubbled over with laughter, just the old way. "But we can play just as well now, can't we, Mark?" "Just as well, Snow White." "And I'm not so horribly big, Mark, am I?" "Not yet, Snow White, not yet, my big little girl." "But you'll still love me the same if I do get horribly big, Mark?" "Just the same, Snow White, a little more every year to allow for growth." "Because I can't help it, you know, Mark." "Surely not, my dear. Surely Mark would not have you help it." "But always I should be the right size for you, Mark, and always you'll be my own dwarf?" "Always and always, Snow White." "Because I love you," said the child. So the two saunter back through the wood, and the ferns unroll beside their path, and the mayflowers peep out at them from under the leaves, and overhead the birds flit and the squirrels frisk, and all is as it has always been in the good green wood. When the milk is carefully set away, Mark Ellery comes out of the house and stands under the great buttonwood tree, silent with bent head. And seeing him so, the girl comes out after him and puts her arms around his neck and leans her head on his breast and is silent too. For she knows he is saying his prayer, the prayer that is now this long time his life, that she means shall guide and raise her own life and bring it a little nearer his. "Even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me." The end. Thank you so much for joining me for Snow White or the House in the Wood. Until next time, keep your imagination open and your story unfolding.